This week, ready to continue their never-ending push to be the largest CPO on the planet. The travel center industry showed continued movement, embracing EV charging station augmentation on their properties. And EVgo pivots and lights up the wires with 4 press releases. Let's get into it. I'm here at a Flying J Travel Center off Interstate 85, just near the border of North Carolina, South Carolina. And Interstate 85 corridor has definitely got a lot of build-outs as of late. This one being one of the very nice stations, travel center right off the exit. All the fixings as far as the travel center goes, and pull through canopy, auto charge plus, EVgo station behind me. And the reason I'm here is EVgo unequivocally won the most news stories this past week with several press releases, not just the Tesla Supercharger one. There's multiple things that EVgo released into the wires that definitely lit everything up, and I'm going to try to put that all together at the tail end of this update. Okay, starting off, Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging put a post in the socials about something they're calling Power Hours. Let me just read through it. Today we're introducing Power Hours, special off-peak pricing available at participating Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging locations. Whether you're commuting, road tripping, or simply topping off before tomorrow or the day ahead, Power Hours makes it easier to save without compromising speed or reliability. It's the same high-powered charging experience, but now with even more value built into every stop. Let me just go over some of these discounts that they're referring to. I'm not going to go over the full list. I'll post it up here, picture in picture, but Power Hours in Birmingham, Alabama, 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 23 cents per kilowatt hour. That is inexpensive. 20 cents per kilowatt hour, even more inexpensive in British Columbia. We got a couple of those. We got Windsor, Connecticut, 35 cents per kilowatt hour off peak. Let's see, we got 22 cents in Austell, Georgia. Alpharetta is 32 cents. Sandy Springs, which is their signature, it says 45 cents off peak, and then 25 cents in the super, and the super is 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So if you happen to be on a third shift and able to take advantage of those hours, they have a nice attached lounge at that location. It's the only location that has an attached lounge. But the winner appears to be, unless my math is wrong looking at this table, Ashburn, Virginia, and North Charleston, South Carolina, going down to 19 cents per kilowatt hour, 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. This is really ridiculous. Ashburn is actually 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., a little bit different. But so very interesting. I'll again post picture in picture. I'm assuming it's already up here of the actual table of the participating locations. It's not every location, but a good chunk of the Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging locations are now. And if you remember, I mentioned they celebrated passing 90 stations opened. Or was it 900? I forgot. But just recently they passed a milestone, and so this is a smaller portion of the overall portfolio, but still very welcome. I'm kind of a member of the old folk American community, so getting up early is no problem for me. And taking advantage of some of these pricings. Heck, by 8 a.m., I'm already thinking of lunch. They also posted into socials about the Tempe, Arizona Mercedes-Benz high-powered charging station opening and celebrated that one as well. And that one was long coming. Let me just read through that. There is a new place to fast charge in Arizona. With the opening of our Tempe location, we're bringing fast charging to one of the busiest travel corridors in the Phoenix metro. It wasn't chosen by chance. Its location just off Loop 202 and minutes from Sky Harbor Airport places fast charging where thousands of daily trips already begin, end, and pass through. Our new location makes it a natural stop for drivers across the valley. So, a densely populated area that has now got a Alpitronic-backed charging station available to it. And Mercedes-Benz seems to be doing a good job of site selection in these dense areas, and their station utilization seems to be doing very well, at least from my outside perspective. IONNA this past week had a good week, opening 5 stations, 2 at Circle K's, a rechargery relay on Westheimer Road in Houston, Texas, which was a bit of a sleeper site, and it's got 14 stalls now open and operational. It's not the first one in Houston, and they're definitely piling on in certain metro areas. They're having multiple stations, and it's a little bit hard to track. So in a given city, you can't say the Houston Rechargery. Now there's the Houston Rechargeries, and you have to say, well, this is the Westminster Avenue one, and then the other one is downtown. So good job there. They also opened a Rechargery relay at a Wawa in Tampa, Florida, and a very picturesque one in Mesquite, Nevada, which is to the east of Las Vegas in a bit of a dead spot. And a YouTuber named Scott Explains went there, made a video, and he also stopped by an additional one, which was a Tesla Supercharger in Jean, Nevada, which is just huge. It's 64 stalls. It's a very large station. He did videos on both of these. And in order to get a perspective of what it's actually like to be at these stations, let's go to a conversation I had with Scott. Okay, so I'm here with Scott. Scott, appreciate you coming on with Out of Spec Bits about these two new exciting stations. Welcome to the Out of Spec Bits channel.
Thank you all, sir. Nice to meet you. Good to be here.
Likewise, yeah, and I've really been enjoying your content. But before we get to the two stations and the YouTube channel, if you could kind of go over, just as an introduction to the audience, your journey into EVs and YouTubing.
Yeah, well, I've bought my first EV 9 years ago. It was a VW e-Golf, which was such a fun car. Living in California at the time, got an amazing deal, 0 down, and I think it was $130 a month, the lease. Loved that car. It was my daily driver. I'd drive to the train station every day, park it. Yeah, that was my very first EV.
Drive past the gas stations. Nothing's nicer.
And then a bit later, a few years later, I bought a used Model S, which was fun. And I'd fallen in love with the Model S when I first saw it, whenever it came out, 2012, I guess. Just
never been in one. They're super smooth air suspension, right?
Very smooth. Mine was red. It was really nice looking car. It was a 2015 model, so it had the first of the autopilot hardware on board, which was cool. And then for the last almost 2 years, I've had a Kia EV9, which is a fantastic car.
Oh, you must have got one of the first ones.
Pardon?
You must have got one of the first ones. If you've had,
I took about 6 months to decide whether to get it. I was humming and hawing about it. I thought I would wait and see if the NACS version came out. And I thought, because the Ioniq 9 wasn't out at that time, but it was coming and coming and coming. But in the end, they kept delaying it. So I went for the EV9, and I'm very glad I did, because in my opinion, the EV9 is a much nicer looking car than the Ioniq 9, which...
yeah. Is it classified full-size SUV? Is that where it sits?
Yeah, I don't know how people classify sizes of SUVs, but it's a 3-row, so it's and it's the biggest car I've ever owned. But that said, it's not as big as an Escalade or
no. But even still, use third row and everything is definitely roomy. I just was going down the interstate doing a small road trip, and there was one kind of next to me. And I definitely had car envy. It's very pretty, roomy, as you say, and I'm in an Equinox. It's definitely big. The Equinox is considered an SUV, but it's the EV9 could eat it for lunch and have room to spare.
It's a big car. It's super comfortable, drives really nice. It's 800 volts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the EGMP.
Yeah, it's got CarPlay, Android Auto. It has real buttons for things like the temperature controls. I live in Las Vegas, so yeah, we need those AC controls.
You got remote start too, in order to turn it on when you're in the grocery store coming out with the ice cream?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a very useful feature.
That was actually my first experience of that, was with the e-Golf, actually. That had it. And so when I came back from the city on the train, about 10 minutes before getting back to the station, I would turn on the AC.
I do that every day. Yeah, I get the benefit of parking in a covered garage now, so it's not so beneficial. It's a little bit nicer in the wintertime in order to warm it up. But definitely been enjoying the content coming out of your YouTube channel. If you want to give people a shout out for the YouTube channel name.
Yeah, thank you. The channel's called Scott Explains.
Okay.
And yeah, I've cover technology, DIY projects, and more recently, EV charging. I've got quite a few videos up there of new stations that have opened.
Really well done, very crisp and full of content. Great shots that you stitched together, and very professional grade content. I definitely encourage everyone to go take a look. Scott Explains YouTube channel is a great subscription with terrific content. And the reason why you're here today is there's a couple of stations that have fallen into my awareness, and I know that you have visited both of them. One of which was in Jean, Nevada. The other is Mesquite, the IONNA. And wanted to cross paths with you when Gene opened, but I kind of think it's fortuitous that we didn't actually accomplish that, because now we have Mesquite to talk about as well. And both of these are, in my opinion, kind of marquee stations on I-15. And if you could just kind of talk about I-15, because as I see it, the port of Long Beach and LA Inland Empire dumping and then moving cargo to points beyond has to be taken 15 to a large extent. So I'm assuming it's a heavy freight corridor. Is that correct?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, 15 goes from Los Angeles through Las Vegas up to Salt Lake City. And so, yeah, it's a really busy road, key interstate, especially between LA and Vegas, but beyond as well. You've got all that traffic going to Salt Lake and beyond, Colorado, all the national
you
parks.
the 70, go all the way across into the Midwest and East Coast if you need be. Yeah. And so definitely a very important corridor. And when Tesla, let's stick with them first because they were the first to open, decided to put a station into Jean, something called Terribles. Now, can you explain what Terribles is? Because I haven't heard of it before this station.
Sure, it's quite a big regional chain of gas stations, convenience stores. They're based in Nevada, but I think they also have stores in Arizona, Utah, maybe some other states, western states as well. But yeah, massive gas station. I think its claim to fame is it's the biggest Chevron gas station in the world. I think they have 96 gas pumps.
Holy smokes! Okay.
There's not quite as many superchargers, but there's
pretty close though. I mean, good. What 64 is what I'm seeing here listed on PlugShare. Is that the correct number? 64. I think that's what I recall. Yeah,
that's correct. So, I counted them. It can be hard to you can lose count, but yes, they're 64. And two of those are pulled through. So if you go back up to the top, that first picture is me towing my trailer.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, there's the EV9 right there. So what you do? Overnight camping with the pull trailer? How far? Well, I'm sorry, there's a lot of questions. First question. So you obviously do pull a trailer, and about how far can you get while you're pulling the trailer?
That is the question everybody wants to know. So I always answer that and say it's a great tow vehicle. It's got so much power, amazing torque. We frequently go up into the mountains. It's wonderful. The problem, of course, is the range. So on the flat, that car has a EPA range of 280 miles, but towing my trailer, I get about 125 miles.
I was thinking about 20. Yeah. So I don't know. In my personal opinion, towing a trailer, you're obviously on a vacation road trip anyway. It kind of adds to the adventure aspect if you have to stop frequently. In my personal opinion, you could tell me otherwise, but
yeah, I mean that's a great description, Walter. It is an adventure, not always a fun one. But this was actually the first long distance road trip I'd done towing the trailer. Before then, we'd just gone on like local trips, so we actually didn't need to charge anywhere publicly. So yeah, this was my first long distance road trip, and this charging station literally opened 2 weeks before this trip, and it couldn't have been better because it's so nice. When the temperature is like 100 degrees outside, the last thing you want to be doing is having to park, unhitch the trailer, charge, then rehitch the trailer. That's not fun at all.
Yeah, we're calling out one of the nice aspects of this that Tesla took the time to put in pull-through. In my neck of the woods, the biggest station, they have one pull-through stall, and this looks to have multiple pull-through stalls, so a little bit more generous in that aspect. But if you could go over some of the aspects of this station minus the sheer stall count, which I think it's safe to say there will always be a stall available, at least for the foreseeable future, until this thing gets ramped up and all these stalls get occupied. Here's the EV9 again. I'm assuming this was at a different trip.
That was the day after it opened, I think. Yeah, I took a trip down there.
And it says there's a sign over here that says open 24/7. So that's definitely advantageous. You have restrooms, garbage cans, lighting. So I'm assuming either Tesla or Terrible's put in the lighting, but that's nice. Security, close to the interstate exit, I'm assuming.
Right off the interstate. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is beautiful. This is when this station fell into my awareness. I'm like, this has to be one of the nicest Tesla supercharger stations, bar none, because, well, I don't know. Even the Oasis has amenities, but it seems like those are kind of like afterthought, have to do sort of things. Like the restrooms they put in are kind of minimalist, but I'm guessing the convenience store attached to this is got no amenity spared. It's got everything, you know, sit down food or hot food, grab and go food, and convenience store items, as well as clean restrooms, fountain drinks, coffee, and all the fixings.
All of that. Yeah, it's a really great spot. The one thing that this charging station doesn't have, and this was the #1 comment on my video about this, was obviously it doesn't have any canopies, which is a little bit more common in California on the I-15, but not so common in Southern Nevada on the I-15. So yeah, when it's 115, 120 degrees, a canopy sure would be nice.
Yeah, the gas people get canopies. Why don't we get canopies? Seems unfair. Right. I'm going to go start a picket line at Gene's to see if we can't get canopies for the Tesla Supercharger station. And sometimes, as you say, Tesla puts in canopies. Normally when they do, it's a solar canopy, which is good for the sun, but not so good for the rain, because typically there's slight gaps between the panels and it does let water through. But even still, some shelter is better than none. But it's funny you should mention canopies, because the next place we're going has not only canopies over the stalls, it also has canopies for the people, as I recall. And boy, was this a nice video that you put together for us. And where was the one where your car is pictured? I know I saw it. Is it
on the left there? It's on the left in the middle. Yeah, so this opened 8 days ago. I think they officially announced it yesterday. So I think the 20 cents rate, the opening rate, still applies, maybe for one more week. I'm not sure.
Did you get any of the 20-cent rate?
I sure did. I was there in day 2.
Check out and see the final bill when you get a 20-cent rate.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's by far the cheapest rate I've ever had public fast charging. So that was super nice to experience. But yeah, like you said, really nice canopy. And yeah, we're looking at the picnic area, which they built, which has got these giant orange sails. And this again is right next to the freeway, and you can actually see this very clearly from the freeway, because these giant orange covers really do stick out when you're driving by.
Oh, okay. And as I recall from your video, it's attached to a casino.
Yeah, it's sort of sandwiched between that casino, Casablanca, and then it's right next door as well to a gas station. So you've actually got 24/7, amenities in both locations, right? Restrooms, places to eat. Well, the gas station's got a shop. It also has restrooms, but the casino's got a diner, a couple of restaurants, stores, restrooms as well. So yeah, it's pretty nice location. And actually, there's a Tesla I think it's a V2 supercharger almost right next door to this. So yeah,
I would have to imagine if I was a Tesla owner, I plugged in and I wanted to get some shade, I'd probably come over to the IONNA station to sit at the picnic tables. Hopefully there was a breeze in order to clear off some of the billowing heat coming off the sails there. But boy, is this a beautiful! I don't think I've seen them put these in anywhere. I think they're promised for the Westminster beacon, but definitely there it will have practical application, just because, I mean, I got a picnic table at mine, but it's just sitting out there in the sticks, is unprotected. And here, not only did they take care of putting the sails and the picnic tables, they put down artificial grass also. So, I mean, the attention to detail here is pretty extensive. And I'm guessing garbage cans, squeegees as well. And I see a pet station over here.
Absolutely. This was actually this week, or that week, last week, I visited my very first IONNA stations, one in northern Nevada, and then this one literally a few days later in southern Nevada. And I was super impressed at this, because on the map, they describe it as a rechargery relay, which I think is like their lowest level, if you like. But not only does this have a canopy over the over the chargers, it's also got this covered picnic area as well. So I don't know. I think they should elevate this one and call it something better, because it's definitely, this is way better than.
It seems signature. I mean, and basically the point I'm getting is 64 stalls at the Terribles, and here at the casino with the sail picnic area and the canopy covered stalls over there, it can definitely get an EV driver spoiled.
Yes,
if this is the
like
new car that
charging
we're
should be
running
done.
across, I mean, my goodness, it's definitely easy to drive an EV when these are the conditions that you're dealing with. This is beautiful country. And so I'm guessing that this is going to be a favorite in your nav as you're cruising into this neck of the woods. Is probably going to be, because not only the 20-cent introductory, they also hold their prices down pretty good all the time. So even if you want to do Tesla Supercharger membership, you got to cough up the $12.99 or whatever it is in order to get the discounted rates. And this is kind of flat 40 all the time, which is a pretty damn good price. So this has got to be, I'm thinking the station is going to be swarmed on 15 with all the people going up and down, as well as maybe some freight traffic in the future. I'm not sure.
I think this is going to be a popular one. It might take people a while to figure out that it's there. I was there the day after it opened. It was not yet showing up in my Kia navigation. One of the things that I noticed when I was at the Gene Tesla Supercharger was, even though I was only there and literally the morning of day 2, there were already Tesla drivers there charging.
That's right.
Yeah, because I think as soon as they open, it literally pops up in the Tesla nav. So,
yeah. Well, very exciting. It's nice to see that not only are we getting raw number of stall count increase, there's a lot of deliberation going into the EV driver charging experience. And here in the Badlands of Southern Nevada, we have 2 beautiful stations that have just recently opened. Scott, much appreciated for your efforts bringing this to us. And I would like to direct everyone to Scott's YouTube channel, Scott Explains, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Scott Explains. He's creating terrific content, and go subscribe in order to stay abreast of some of the new stations and the terrific efforts that he's doing in order to bring some of these to life for us. Scott, much appreciated for coming on to Out of Spec Bits.
Thank you, Walter. Good to connect.
Thanks, Scott, for bringing those magnificent new stations to the YouTube community. I encourage everyone to go check out Scott's channel called Scott Explains. Next, Ready relentlessly has been opening stations week in, week out, and this past week opened 4. Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts, and Washington. Washington and Massachusetts are both 6 stalls. Washington is Auburn, Washington, and just doing an absolutely terrific job. Right now, according to my math, they have 597 stations open with 2,117 DC fast charger ports in operation, which makes them a larger CPO than, let me just rattle off this list. They're larger than Rivian, EV Connect, Francis, Mercedes-Benz, IONNA, Walmart, BP Pulse, Flow, or Pilot Flying J, the folks behind me. And they're only behind the likes of EVgo, Electrify America, ChargePoint, and Tesla. And if my math is correct, Red E is now in 5th place for CPOs in the North American continent. That is truly a remarkable feat. So congratulations to Red E. And for people who are unaware, YouTuber Dan the EV Man tracks the Red E project with updates. So if you want to stay up to date with Red E, I recommend go subscribing to his channel. And I believe he does monthly updates for the Red E charging network. Next, BP Pulse opened another 12-stall Alpitronic station off Interstate 10 east of Houston in a town called Baytown at a Travel Centers of America. When I came back from, I'm wearing a Disney World t-shirt. When I came back from Disney World, from Orlando to Charlotte, I made a point of stopping at the BP Pulse stations at the Travel Centers of America along Interstate 95 through the northern Florida, southern Georgia region. And they're just really nicely outfitted travel centers with all kinds of amenities immediately off the interstate, just like this. And Alpitronics that are very ample in stall count. This one has 4 stalls, but those typically have 12. Like this one here that opened is 12 stalls also. And dual handled CCS and J3400 with full power delivery. Their cables have a boost profile, so I was able to get full power really nice. And so they opened a new one east of Houston on I-10, Baytown, 12 stalls. Speaking of travel centers, there's another travel center operator operating in the Northeast, and actually they operate in the Northeast, the United Kingdom, and Ireland, called Apple Green. They posted into the Alternative Fuels Data Center database 4 additional stations that opened. These are in Lawn, Pennsylvania, Waterfall, Pennsylvania, in 2 different directions, westbound, eastbound on the PA Turnpike. And the Garden State Parkway, the Judy Bloom Service Plaza in Wall, New Jersey, all opened. And they say 4 stalls, and it looks like what it is each one of the Alpitronic hyperchargers they have outfitted with a CCS and a J3400, so everyone gets their own dedicated Alpitronic HYC400s for a total of 4 stalls with dual handled. And so very premium option. And nice thing about travel center, that the Apple Green travel centers, you just don't have to get off the toll road. You pull into the travel center and you don't have to pay additional tolls. You can get yourself some food, go to the restroom, empty out the car's garbage, and get a charge all at the same place, and then get back on the road and off you go. So very premium experience there. They have been quietly amassing a very large charging network over the years, and they're in the process of doing the refresh to Alpitronic and also building net new stations. And their map, as it's seen on their website, is a pretty impressive CPO build at very, as I say, premium locations. Not to be outdone by their rivals, though, Love's Travel Centers, which is a competitor to Flying J, which is behind me, opened a really nice looking canopy covered station south of Louisville, Kentucky on Interstate 65 in a town called Horse Cave. So it definitely looks like the travel center industry is embracing the augmentation of EV charging stations on their property. I mean, 3 just this week. Actually, the Horse Cave one was a week previous, but I threw it in here just to kind of highlight that the travel center operators are definitely embracing electric vehicle charging. There's no question about that. Now, Tesla Supercharger opened 10 stations. A couple of things to call out here. There is a what do they call it? Swift Shop in Spartanburg, South Carolina, kind of close to where I'm currently sitting. And the Interstate 85 corridor is doing, the Tesla Supercharger team is doing a great job filling that in. They did a Cracker Barrel in Greenville, South Carolina, a little bit further up. And then there's a Fair Play station at a Travel Centers of America, which is really large, close to the border with Georgia. And they have this one now in Spartanburg, South Carolina, at a Swift Shop, which is a C-store operator. It's also very close to a Cracker Barrel. That Cracker Barrel affinity with the Tesla Supercharger team is something that they seem to be leaning into. Additionally, there is a 16-stall station in Houston, Texas. The Target partnership saw another one in Oviedo, Florida. There are 2 Royal Farms in Maryland that both got Tesla Supercharger stations opened up just in the past week. They have one in Washington, and Winco Foods in Eugene, Oregon, and Wawa in North Wales, Pennsylvania. So Myers in New Albany, Indiana. So very good week for the Tesla Supercharger team, which is very common for them. But their sub-brand, the Tesla Supercharger for Business program, opened 3 additional stations. Claiborne, Texas at Texas Best Smokehouse. The sub-CPO is Victron Energy. The city of Isle of Palms, South Carolina, at Island Center, opened up with some really beachy themed wraps on the Tesla Supercharger dispensers. And the Stealth Group is the listed CPO for a 4-stall station in Houston, Texas. All of these have Magic Dock active. Next, Electrify America opened 2 stations, a 4-stall station at a Wawa store in Quakerstown, Pennsylvania. And I can only assume this 4-stall because that's below what Electrify America typically puts in our Electrify America commercial at Wawa, and they'll be Wawa branded. Right now in the picture that I have, they're not. It's also immediately adjacent to a Tesla Supercharger station. It looks to be V3. Additionally, they opened a 12-stall station in Greensboro, North Carolina. People remember I was at a Electrify America station in, where was it? I think it was Winston-Salem. And this Greensboro one, I swung by afterwards, and it was under construction at the Target, and it is now officially open, 12 stalls. They made quick work of that station. It did not take them 2 years to get that station open. That station was the shovels in the ground. While I was there, there was nothing. There was just they were putting in the conduit, getting some initial electrical work, and it was just, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, and now it's officially open, 12 stalls. That's very fast work for Electrify America timelines. Next, ChargePoint also had a very good week, opening more than a dozen stations, one of which I'm going to call out here, is in the Kansas City International Airport cell phone lot. And the Charlotte Douglas International Airport cell phone lot, which I frequent with some regularity because my wife likes to fly on airplanes. She goes international and around the country quite frequently. So I find myself in that lot, and I always wondered why they didn't put either a level 2 or a DC fast charger in that lot, because of the rideshare folk who are waiting for their next fare at the airport, or just people who are waiting who need to fill up. It's a great stop for people who are transient through the property. They have not, but Kansas City International has put 3 ChargePoint chargers in their cell phone lot. I'm sure that will be very welcome. Okay, now that I've cleared the plate of what was going on this week absent EVgo, I need to start diving into what happened with EVgo this week. So I don't know. Their PR team must have been out on vacation for 2 months and came back and plowed through their email inbox and finished a bunch of things that they had to do, because there was just one after another press releases that came out. And let me just verbally, and if you guys remember last week, I was talking about the what appears to be a flagship station coming to Warren, Michigan, or is already open. It appears to be a flagship station. We haven't got official confirmation yet, but I think that is going to be announced to be their first flagship station. Now, this week they had the announcement of the Tesla Supercharger for Business pairing. They had another one with their Q2 earnings report. Their third one was here with the Pilot Flying J GM Energy folk, talking about surpassing 300 locations. And the fourth one was Brixmor Properties Group, talking about 90 locations with 500 stalls. So let's just kind of go through these one at a time. The first one is the Tesla Supercharger for Business pairing, offering 500 kilowatt, 1000 volt charging, specifically talking about Metropolitan Network, the EVgo Metropolitan Network. So we're right now at a Pilot Flying J going across corridors, and there was some discussion after I made a quick video on my personal channel with commenters talking about how General Motors is probably not going to be too fond to have General Motors' name on a Tesla Supercharger. I guess I could see that. I don't know. I think it stands to be answered whether or not that will ever happen or not. But the station behind me is co-branded Flying J and General Motors Energy with EVgo Delta hardware. And according to this press release, initially they are not doing it at these locations. They're talking about their Metropolitan Network. Now, specifically about their Metropolitan Network, they also put into the wires a partnership with Brixmor Properties Group. Let me just read that. Are expanding our long-standing partnership to add 500 new fast charging stalls at shopping centers across the U.S. Kind of sounds like their Metropolitan build, doesn't it? Soon drivers will be able to shop, grab a meal, and charge at 90 plus Brixmor properties nationwide. Together we are bringing fast charging to more of the places people already visit. Here's the specifics. 500 new stalls, and I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 500 plus new stalls, 90 plus shopping centers, more convenient charging coast to coast, first site of expansion in Barn Plaza, Pennsylvania, is what the press release reads. Now, if you connect the dots there, I'm guessing these Brixmor properties are going to be the ones getting the Tesla Supercharger for Business hardware, because there's no General Motors Energy partnership there, and those are in metropolitan areas, and those are coming in 2026, 2027, and they say in the Tesla Supercharger for Business press release that Supercharger sites are expected to be operational in the second half of 2026. It's August. It's the second half of 2026. So we don't have any official confirmation. I think those Brixmor property locations are very likely going to be the places where this initial push for the Tesla Supercharger for business occurs. And if I had to guess what occurred in the conference room, back rooms, conversations at EVgo, it just made practical sense to proceed as kind of like a staff augmentation where they could use the engineering team at the Tesla Supercharger for Business group in order to help accelerate additional deployments faster, because they are sitting on a mountain of cash and their stated objectives are to continue to expand, which are mentioned in their Q2 earnings report, which let me read that now. Q2 earnings report, a couple of the bullet highlights. There wasn't a lot of information in there, but let me go over the bulleted highlights. EVgo Superchargers. EVgo and Tesla signed an agreement to deploy EVgo owned and branded V4 Superchargers starting in 26. Each site is expected to have up to 20 stalls, located near everyday destinations like retail shops and restaurants. Kind of sounds like Brixmor, doesn't it? EVgo Superchargers will appear in the in-car Tesla navigation and Tesla trip planner. Second bullet point, stall development. Ended the second quarter with 5,380 stalls in operation. EVgo added 280 new DC fast charging stalls during the quarter, offset by 175 removals of legacy equipment under the company's Renew program. Average daily throughput, third bullet point. Average daily throughput per stall for the EVgo public network was 276 kilowatt hours per day in the second quarter of 2026 compared to 281 kilowatt hours per day in the second quarter of 2025. So when you compare those two, that's a decrease. Now, there's an increase in stalls throughout the network, but it still shows a healthy utilization rate. It is going down, so perhaps they're thinking they need to decrease. And the answer is no, because the vehicles in operation are continuing to go up. So there's more to this story. Fourth bullet point, customer accounts added over 99,000 new customer accounts in the second quarter, with over 1.8 million total customer accounts at the end of the quarter. J3400 connectors, 240 are in operation as of July 31st. And the last bullet point in the Q2 earnings report, EVgo next generation charging architecture. This is not the Tesla Supercharger for Business. This is the next generation Delta, which we understand to be a distributed architecture similar to the Alpatronic HYC 1000 and the Kempower satellite units, a distributed approach, the same as the Tesla approach. Finalized the design of the company's next generation charging equipment, and testing is underway with demonstrated high current charging on multiple vehicle models. So El Segundo, California is where that is occurring, that testing is occurring. And so EVgo Q2 has a lot of good information in it as far as what we can expect from them in the future, as well as their current sound underpinnings. Now, they're supposed to hit profitability, but they went below that because they're spending so much cash on expansion, but their revenues went up. So they're putting more stalls out there, and they're getting heavily utilized, so their revenues are higher than they were a year ago. Their revenues continue to increase, but their profits actually dip because they're spending a lot of cash. Okay, the last of the press releases which I want to mention, I'm just going to read this very quickly. It's not that long. Pilot company General Motors and EVgo today announced the collaborative electric vehicle fast charging network, which you see behind me, has surpassed 300 locations with 1,300 fast charging stalls across 40 states, marking a major milestone in expanding convenient, reliable EV travel across the United States. The network now spans approximately 75% of the contiguous United States, covering more than 2.2 million square miles of connecting drivers to destinations across the country. Quote, Pilot is making the most of all drivers' miles by making long-distance EV travel more accessible and reliable than ever, said Scott Hunley, Director of Light-Duty EV and Infrastructure at Pilot. Reaching more than 300 locations reflects our commitment to building a coast-to-coast charging network and delivering an exceptional travel experience that shows EV drivers they matter. Since launching the charging network in 2022, Pilot has consistently been rated by EV drivers as an industry-leading charging experience, earning PlugShare scores of 9.41 out of 10 as of July 2026. The exceptional amenity EV travelers can find at Pilot locations include 1. Well-lit, fully staffed locations open 24/7 with free Wi-Fi and clean restrooms. 2. On-site restaurants and a variety of food, beverage, and convenience options. 3, overhead canopies, like you see behind me, at several locations to protect drivers from weather. 4, pull-through stalls, like you see behind me, at several locations for drivers towing a trailer. 5, windshield washing supplies. And should be noted, I don't know why they're not advertising it, but when you plug in to charge at a pilot station, and I don't know the extent, it's really frustrating. I've seen it multiple times. A little thing pops up on your phone saying, hey, come in and get a free fountain drink. I'm like, what? And sure enough, it has a QR code. You go inside, you get yourself a fountain drink. If it has self-checkout, you just scan the QR code and you're zeroed out on your purchase for the fountain drink. So free fountain drinks for charging at Pilot Flying J stations. So it's a nice little add-on. Okay, so we finally got through the EVgo press release storm together. Thanks for sticking with me, friends. Lastly, our friends over at the Electric Duo YouTube channel recently did an in-depth walk-around video of the new Rove EV charging hub in Costa Mesa, California that I encourage everyone to go take a look at to see what the Rove brand is bringing to the table. Because if you want to peer into the future of next-generation EV charging experiences, Rove is definitely starting to be out there on the edge of what it might look like in the future. Definitely encourage everyone to go check out that video. Thanks for watching.